I'm working on a wedding cake, and I figured I would take you through every day as I work on these cakes. So today is technically day 2, as yesterday I spent the day baking. I had to bake a vanilla cake, lemon poppy, chocolate orange, and red velvet. That's 10 kilos of cake, so I did 2.5 kilos for each flavor. And then I had some fruit cakes that I had made a little in advance, like 3 days earlier, because I needed to soak them in alcohol every single day so that they could mature. So as you can see, when the video started, I had wrapped my cakes while they were hot so that they could retain their moisture. But one thing I've stopped doing is wrapping them and then throwing them in the fridge immediately, because I don't know if that's what was causing the cakes to lose shape immediately, but I've decided I'll be waiting a little bit before I pop them into the fridge, so that, I don't know, it was just maybe luck for this one round, but it worked. My cakes didn't get as deformed as sometimes they get. But anyways, moving on. So I did start my day making vanilla buttercream, white chocolate vanilla buttercream, which obviously didn't film because my back was really killing me on this day, and I had procrastinated for too long. But then I knew I had to just start working, so I made the buttercream and then just got to work on each of these cakes. So I'm layering all the cakes with the vanilla buttercream, and for this time around I didn't crumb coat my cakes because, and I did mention this to Miss Sabelli, that we were discussing about how I usually do a full crumb coat to my cakes before I ganache, and she was asking me how come my cakes don't crack once I put the ganache on. And I remember just saying, maybe because I used chocolate buttercream, my cakes, my ganache just doesn't crack. And I swear, after we spoke about that, the next time I did a cake and covered it with ganache, it cracked. So I was telling Sarah about it, and she said it's because none of us said mashallah like in the conversation. But so this time around I decided I will not be doing a full crumb coat, so I just trimmed my cakes and then used glucose syrup to stick the cake to the cake board, and then used a piping bag to do the cream layers, because I did not want to put using a spatula, because I am a little heavy handed, because I prefer to just scoop out a lot, and then while smoothing out the buttercream on the layers, I'll just use whatever like droops or falls over to crumb coat. So this time, because I didn't want to do that, I just opted to use a piping bag so I can control the pressure I'm using and how much cream I'll put on each layer. But by the time I was getting to these big cakes, my back was genuinely destroying me, and I kept wishing I had worn my back support from the beginning, but it was so dusty. I just didn't want to wear it and then catch a cold, so I just opted to power through. You obviously can't see because I kept pausing, but I would take breaks every single moment that I could, and it was really tough on me, but at the same time I was very happy. I opted to start working on this wedding cake a little earlier than I usually would, because normally I prefer baking on Monday or Tuesday so that I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But this was the first wedding cake I have that is more than 3 tiers tall, so I had to work smart instead of just doing what I usually do. And I had sought so much advice from my baker friends Gigi and Sarah, so with their knowledge I was just choosing to work smarter. And with my back pain, I kept telling myself, since you've decided to start early, you'll be able to do it. So I was taking my time, especially with these big cakes. And I remember when I finished this cake, because it's just the layers with just a thin-ish layer of buttercream, I decided to weigh this cake. This cake was originally, I think, meant to be 3.5 kgs pre-cream, And when I weighed this cake with just the thin layer of buttercream that you'll see me put, the cake came to around 5 kgs or it was around 4.65, somewhere there. And at that point I was very happy I was done doing the buttercream, despite how bad my back was feeling. But at this point I think the panic set in, because my back was really hurting, and I was like, if this cake is this heavy with just buttercream, how heavy will it be with ganache and fondant? Will I be able to carry it and whatnot? But I told myself I have help for the day, so I'll be fine. So that's how the cakes looked. Then I made some 1:1 ganache. But then in the end, I decided I don't want to leave my cakes so bare. I opted to just wrap them with cling film because I got scared that they will dry out. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.